Fair warning, there's a good chance most of us are going to be asking ourselves, didn't we already do this on Lost in Space? And we'll be answering ourselves, yes, we did. Then we'll be asking ourselves, so why are we doing it again? And we'll be answering ourselves, I don't know.
Chipper, come back.
Will runs back to tell Dr. Smith, Barry runs back to tell Fitzhugh what he found. That ranger calls a friend on his radio to tell him what he found and to have him find out how much the reward is for little people.
Is it a real spaceship, Mr. Fitzhugh?
It's real, all right. Real enough to fly. Large enough to carry two.
Well, wait till I tell Captain Burton.
No, we mustn't tell Captain Burton just now.
Why not?
In fact, you must tell nobody. Give me a solemn oath.
As usual, Dr. Smith, Fitzhugh, is manipulating the child of the group for his own selfish purposes. Barry will hem and haw around, and finally Fitzhugh decides that's good enough.
Wonderful.
Mr. Fitzhugh, you are going to tell the others about this spaceship, aren't you?
Of course, my boy. Of course I'm going to tell them. Come, Barry, let's get back to camp.
He'll tell them. The question is when and under what circumstances. Since Fitzhugh has thoroughly reverted to type as though the past season and a half never happened, you can bet it'll have something to do with him taking the ship and leaving the others to rot. By the way, in case anyone's interested, Betty isn't in this episode at all. In fact, they act as though she never existed. She's nowhere to be found. For some reason, it's now Mark's job to monitor the radio. And when Valerie makes lunch, she says she made enough for 6. I don't understand, and there's a chance I don't want to.
Hi.
Hi.
Found a spaceship. What?
Oh, it just looked like a spaceship. Some old fallen log back there in the woods.
Oh. Don't scare me like that.
You're under oath.
No, he isn't, but Fitzhugh thinks he is. Barry is really uncomfortable with this. Back at camp, Steve and Mark are out somewhere, and Dan is in the shelter working on a busted radio.
Feel free. Not here. I want you to come with me.
Where?
Never mind. You won't regret it. You'll be very interested.
Fitzhugh cannot wait. It's almost time for chow.
Food. Who cares at a time like this?
Well, this really must be important.
It is.
For Smith, Fitzhugh, to decline food, it must be world-shattering. You may have some idea how annoying this is getting already.
A space pod.
Well, how did that look to you?
Why didn't you say something? We could have brought the others.
Oh, and give them all a great big disappointment if this turned out to be a piece of junk.
It's not a piece of junk, but when Dan takes a look inside, he discovers a couple of burned-out parts. They just happen to have what he needs to fix it back at the ship. What a remarkable stroke of luck.
But with Mark and Steve between the two.
No. As I said before, let's surprise them. Not until we're sure.
Look, Fitzhugh.
Listen, Dan. Barry's got a birthday coming up day after tomorrow. I want to get that ship running, so we know it'll work before we tell the boy anything about it.
I'm talking about Steve and Mark.
You tell one and the story is out.
Spoiler, Barry's birthday is months away. We all know why Fitzhugh is doing this. As quick as Dan figures out how to make the pod work, Fitzhugh steals it and leaves. Over the past 39 episodes, we've watched Fitzhugh go from this to a useful member of the crew who understands that they're all in this together. He has his moments, as we all do, but he has grown. The Fitzhugh we're seeing here belongs early in the first season. I really don't know why writers kept doing this to him. He starts to become a bit of a sympathetic character, and we can applaud him for his growth. Then suddenly it's all gone, and he's back to a Zachary Smith clone. It doesn't make sense, and it does violence to the character that we've developed. There's a technical term for what we're seeing here. Bad writing.
We're starving. It smells good.
How's that for service?
Very good. Where's Fitzhugh and Dan?
Don't ask me. They have a great big secret going.
What kind of secret?
She said it's their secret. Why would she know what it is?
All I know is that Dan took something from the ship. Something he hid from me.
They check inside and find 2 diode boosters missing. What's a diode booster? In this context, I have no idea. But Mark says their only use is in a spaceship's power supply. Click.
Barry, do you have any idea what's going on?
No, not really, Captain.
You do know something, Barry. What is it?
Oh, please, Captain. Mr. Fitzhugh wanted me to take an oath, and I didn't take an oath. I didn't make any promises. But Mr. Fitzhugh thinks I did.
Barry is honest to a fault. He's not comfortable breaking an oath that he didn't even take. Valerie has an idea.
Barry, did you have the dog when you were out with Fitzhugh this morning?
Yeah.
Well, did Chipper make any promises to Fitzhugh?
Yeah, that's it. Thanks, Valerie.
Score one for the weaker sex.
I'm just going to come out and say it. Women are not the weaker sex. We are. Want proof? Outdoor plumbing. Vulnerable. When's the last time you heard about a woman getting kicked in the balls? And how tough are they? They do childbirth. And then they go back and do it again, knowing what it's going to be like. If a man tried to do that, especially multiple times, he'd turn into a puddle of jello in less than 5 minutes. We are not the tough ones, guys. And it's high time we acknowledge it and stop being arrogant sexists. Some self-important clown online recently said something to the effect of, "Bring back manly men." You know what a manly man is, going by our history? A brainless oaf with muscles between his ears and a knack for starting fights with other brainless oafs. Thank you, but no. We can do better. And we have to do better.
Okay, Fitzhugh, it's all set to go.
At last. Dan, I've got a proposal to make to you. How did you get here, you little beast?
How did this get here?
It's mine. I found it.
Wrong. Barry found it, so it's his.
I wonder how it got here.
I don't know. Must have belonged to the visitors we had a little while back from Earth. You remember, the time travelers.
It's been sitting here all this time and nobody noticed it. Fitzhugh has his mind made up that it'll take him back to Earth. In fact, it's big enough for two. The question now is which two? Who gets to stay behind? That's a question for later. Right now, Steve wants to know why Fitzhugh told Dan to keep it a secret. Dan explains about Barry's birthday and learns that he's been had.
What's he trying to... I'll tell you what he's trying to pull. This thing will only hold 2 people. And he's making sure he'd be one of them.
You intend to stop me, you're mistaken. It's mine. I found it. Don't try anything. Anyone takes off in this ship, I'm going along.
Nobody's taking off.
Nobody has any idea how to fly it, for one thing. Dan found an operator's manual, but it's written in a futuristic version of English that he can't read.
Do something.
Shut the door. And hang on.
All right, you caught all but 4 of them. And Ranger Wilson burned his hand pretty good. His buddy will have to bandage it up while they wait to see if any of the little people come back. That means if Steve wants to land back in the same place, they'll have to get rid of these 2 before he does.
How do we know you can land?
What's that supposed to mean?
It means that I was in that space pod, and all the control instruments had symbols on them I couldn't even read. And Steve doesn't have this operating manual.
Mark is a little better with languages than Dan is, so they head back to the ship where he begins deciphering it. Even better news, the radio in that pod works. Steve calls into the ship, and Valerie sends Barry to go get Mark and Dan.
Not their way. How do we know how many of his buddies he's got watching the regular trails for us? Come on.
That means they and Barry are going to go right past each other.
Dan? Mark? Mr. Fitzhugh?
Within moments, he's trussed up like a rodeo calf, and they have him lying out in the open to serve as bait for the others. In the pod, Steve has discovered that it's on a pre-programmed course and the controls don't respond. Wherever they're going, they don't have a choice. Next thing they know, they've flown through another space warp similar to the one that brought them here.
What does it look like? Like a ball? Like what? Don't tell me. Don't tell me.
That's right, it's Earth.
We've made it. We're on Earth. We're home.
We're almost home, Fitzhugh. There's still a small formality of landing.
The landing is routine thanks to the ship's pre-programming. They appear to be in a small town somewhere in North America. Amazingly, the ship's radio can still reach the spindrift through the space warp.
Do you know where you are yet?
Not really. We'll be going out in a minute and take a look around.
All right, before you go, there's a small knob in the center of your instrument panel marked KK. Do you see it?
Yeah, I see it.
Pull it off.
Right.
Good. Now, it's impossible for anyone to take off with that ship unless the knob is replaced.
In other words, take the ignition key with you. Outside, they're finding dirt roads and gas street lights, and there's nobody around. Where are all the people?
It's not where we are, Fitzhugh, that worries me. It's when.
I beg your pardon, Captain.
Look at that street light.
What's wrong with it? Perfectly charming old-fashioned New England gas light.
Yeah, it's been a long time since New England's been that old-fashioned.
Have they noticed that they're walking on unpaved streets and there are horse-drawn buggies all over the place? Steve notices a hand-operated fire engine, and that pretty well settles it. They've traveled back in time. In a rather oblique way, we'll learn that the year is 1900.
Friends, we're home again.
Don't come no closer, mister.
But I'm your friend.
Take one step and you're a dead friend.
This isn't exactly the welcome Fitzhugh was expecting. Then again, he was expecting to land in 1983, where the people have heard of things like spaceships.
We're not armed.
What's this?
Well, you might call it kind of a key.
A wiseacre, are you? Now then, you two are going to answer some questions.
I'm not sure how answering his question makes him a wiseacre, but this place is redneck central. If they don't understand the answer, it can't be understood.
You say you were on your way from Los Angeles, California, to London, England, when you landed in this here land of the giants.
That's what happened.
Flying.
Right.
I don't believe it.
Come now. You say you're a flyers, and any thinking man knows that human flight is impossible.
Give it another 3 years and the Wright brothers will prove you wrong. But as backward as this place is, they'll probably get that news around 1930. And by the way, there were balloons, blimps, and lots of other manned flight things going on at this time. But again, these guys probably think the Pony Express is still running.
The circuit judge comes next Saturday. You can explain to him. In the meantime, I got to throw you in the jug.
On what charge? Illegal parking? Meanwhile, Dan went to look for Barry and got himself netted. So now they're both tied up like a cheap pork roast, waiting for the others to come find them.
You know, there are many advantages of living back here in 1900. Nobody ever heard of me, for one thing. So I have no debts.
Fitzhugh, I think that trip has done something to your mind.
Added at the fact that I know exactly what's going to happen for the next 75 years. So you see, I have a marvelous chance of becoming an extremely wealthy man.
I almost feel sorry for people like Fitzhugh who think money is the key to a happy life. The fact is, money corrupts. It becomes an end in itself rather than a means to acquire the goods and services one needs to live. Paul said the love of money is the root of all evil. Being a Bible scholar myself, I've watched my colleagues wrestle with that and try to find an explanation for it, because it can't be the root of all evil, right? Well, yes, it can. Because what is the love of money? It's greed, selfishness. I'm going to blow your mind right now. Every moral evil in the world from the day we crawled out of the slime to this moment can be traced to selfishness. I want, so I take from you. I feel upset, so I harm you. I think I'm important, so I conquer you. I decide my race is better than yours, so I throw you into the gas chambers. It's all selfishness. I'm going to leave it at that and let folks ponder it while we continue.
Where do you think you're heading?
We want to see the constable.
He's out here right now, but he'll be back in a few minutes. Now, come on, now, let's all leave. Let's all leave.
Wait a minute, we know he's in there with those two foreigners, or devils, or whatever they are.
Well, Steve is wearing a red suit. Maybe his hair is hiding the horns.
All right, now. Now, look, Mrs. Perkins, you're supposed to be locked up safe in your house like the rest of the women and children.
Fiddlesticks. I want to know what you mean to do with them.
They got to have a fair hearing.
Why? I say string them up now and worry about it later.
I'm not sure if Fitzhugh is going to get the chance to get rich off all that inside information. They have to get out of here. They'll use what may be the oldest trick in the book, except in 1900 it's not that old, and there haven't been enough movies to make it a trope. So here goes.
Guard! Guard!
What's wrong here?
My friend's sick. He needs help. He'll be okay.
Moments later, the deputy is the one who's not feeling so great. Close the cell door so he can't get out and raise the alarm, dimwits. Well, I tried.
Go get him, boys!
Too bad they can't take off without the key, which is in the constable's pocket. These guys can't pound their way in and nobody'll think to try shooting it. They have a better plan. They can't take off, and this thing doesn't have any weaponry or shielding or anything. They'd better hope Mark can pull something out of that manual.
There's a lever over near the position where you pulled out that knob. Yeah, I got it. All right, pull out that lever, count 3 seconds, and push it back. Right.
All right. Now!
Something like that. The whole planet is frozen in time except for them. Steve can mosey over to the constable. It's a little town that never got over the Old West, so you're required to mosey and get the key.
Mark. Mark.
What's the matter?
Stan and Barry, they haven't returned yet. I'm getting worried.
Well, I'm right in the middle of this. I can't look for him now. Look, when I find the information Steve needs, we'll look for Dan and Barry.
Never mind, she'll look for them herself and get herself captured just like them. Steve has found the constable and he has the key. Time to go.
Spindrift, come in. Spindrift. Steve, I've been trying to reach you. What's the matter? Frozen time has a lethal effect. In what way? You have exactly 15 minutes from when you started it to take off. After that, you burn up like a film caught in the gate of a projector.
That sounds like a major design flaw. The counter is at 4 minutes, so they'd better take off. Unfortunately, Fitzhugh is being Fitzhugh. Yes, he's going to rob the bank. He'll come out with a satchel overflowing with cash. What he expects to do with 1900 Earth currency where they're going is anybody's guess, but he can't help himself.
What's with you anyway? I can't help it. I'm a greedy slob. It's my hobby.
Don't worry, they'll blast off with close to 2 minutes to spare. We won't get to see the townspeople's reaction when time starts again. Too bad. I'd like to know if they cleaned all that stuff up or if they just went ahead and burned it.
See if this works again. 1, 2, 3. That takes care of him.
Now they can go out and release Barry, Valerie, and Dan.
What are we going to do?
It's the ship. We've got to send it up.
Empty? We can't do that.
Well, we got to. What do you mean?
It's our only chance to get back to Earth.
We've been back, Fitzhugh. Didn't do any good. Hey, you get over there on time. Get them away from the giants. I'll rig the ship's timer for blast off.
Where's it going? Anywhere but here.
There they go.
What about the prisoners?
Gone.
Got to be here.
Gone. There's not a sign of them.
All gone. Bye-bye reward. As far as they know, the whole gang is in that thing. It's a good thing neither of them got the chance to tell his boss off. Now nobody has to know about this.
Well, there they go.
It was our only chance to get back to Earth.
Captain, how did you get here?
Never mind that. How did we get here?
Dan, my friend, it's a long, long story. Never believe it.
At least I've got a souvenir from the past.
What were you saying, Fitzhugh?
There is no good reason why that happened. There is no good reason why this episode happened. Why, Irwin? Why? And even when they go back in time like this, you notice they never land in New York or San Francisco or even Omaha or Dubuque. It's always out in BFE where the family trees don't fork. I know the statement we're making here. When you react with fear and violence to things or people you don't understand, you're acting like these sub-epsilons. And you know something? You buried that statement deep enough in the idiocy that it took me 3 watchings to spot it. A subject like this could have been done so much better. Put them on 5th Avenue in New York in 1954 at the height of the commie panic. Or better yet, do away with this time travel crap altogether and keep making your statement with the show you already have. The way the giants treat the little people is making your point quite well. You don't need to throw in something like this. The episode is unnecessary. It's a pointless complication to a situation that already has plenty of story in it. And you didn't even show us the mad scramble when time started again and the people saw all that money strewn all over the street. Hey, thanks for watching. If you like what you see, please click the thumbs up. It really does help the channel. If you're not subscribed yet, the button looks something like this. So click it and join our little family. There's a bell there that may or may not actually work to give you notifications when we post something, but it can't hurt to click it just in case. Again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Crap. I'm not going to redo it, though. Okay. Fitzhugh has his mind made up that'll... I'm not sure... So they head back to the ship where he begins...